All right, gather around, children. Today we're going to talk about why the Yamato's a coral reef. No, we're actually going to talk about why the Yamato's a coral reef. And the battle that put her there, Operation Tengo. First things first, the Yamato was the lead ship in her class, as in the Yamato class of battleship. That means there's more than one. There were two. The IJN Yamato and the IJN Musashi. And guess what? Both of them are coral reefs. Coming in at 862 foot long, 127 foot wide, she weighed just over 71,000 tons. 12 steam boilers drove her 4 screws up to speeds of 26 knots. That's about 30 miles an hour. Her decks were graced with 3 turrets of 18-inch guns, 2 triple turrets of 6-inch guns, 12 twin 5-inch guns, 162 1-inch AA guns, and just for good measure, 4 13mm AA guns. And not just that, this thing is what happens when you give a battleship and an aircraft carrier date night. You get one of these monstrosities. She also carried 7 Japanese E-8Ns or E-4N aircrafts that could be launched from the 2 catapults on her. This thing is an absolute monstrosity. I mean, listen, I am all about American ingenuity. The United States makes some of the meanest, nastiest, most effective unhealthcare you can buy. But I gotta give it to Japan on this one. Thing's pretty badass. Now, the IJN Yamato was actually involved in a lot of battles in the Pacific Theater. The Battle of Leyte, the Battle of the Philippines, the Battle of Samar. However, in all of those times, she only got to fire her main guns once. Round face history, bro. Why did they only fire their guns once? Oh, thanks for asking. Because Japan was going through a logistics and ammo problem. They couldn't get shells for it. I mean, just revel in the level of asshattery that is right now. You have the biggest, baddest battleship in the world, but you can't use it because you can't get ammo. April 6, 1945. The Yamato, the cruiser Yahagi, and 8 destroyers leave Tokoyama. The Yamato and her battle group were dispatched to engage the Allied forces in the Battle of Okinawa. Dispatched is a relative term. You see, Emperor Hirohito was less than thrilled about the army's plan to defend Okinawa, which included the use of kamikaze attacks. Hirohito, very visibly upset, said, "Where is the Navy? Where are all of our ships? What is the Navy doing to defend Okinawa?" Feeling the pressure, the Japanese Admiralty decided to come up with the Yamato's orders. Their orders were to proceed to Okinawa and do shore bombardments, then beach themselves and continue shore bombardments until destroyed. It was a kamikaze mission. They weren't coming back. 2 American submarines, the Thedfin and the Hackleback, spotted the Japanese fleet passing through the Bungo Strait. Now, while the 2 subs couldn't attack it, they shadowed it all the way through the Bungo Strait, giving updates to the American fleet. Which, to be honest, the level of disrespect in this was absolutely outstanding. They sent the messages uncoded, meaning that the Japanese radio operators were able to intercept and listen to them. I mean, the absolute disrespect in that is incredible. We know where you are, we know you're coming, and we don't care. It's just awesome. On the dawn of April 7th, the Yamato and her escorts were steaming south from Kyushu on their way to Okinawa. Now remember, the U.S. knows that they're coming. It was at this point that Admiral Raymond Spruance spooled up his task force. At about 10 a.m. on April 7th, Task Force 58-1 and 58-3 launched 280 aircraft to intercept the Yamato and her escorts. At around noon, the F-6F Hellcats and F-4U Corsairs arrived over top of the Yamato. Now, their mission was basically to get in and get out. Go in, strafe the decks, and draw the Japanese fire so that the dive bombers and torpedo aircraft could make their run. Now, the Imperial Japanese Air Force at this time was, significantly depleted, because of all the kamikaze attacks. This left all the American aircraft the ability to take their attack runs uninterrupted. They couldn't mount an opposition. The first wave of aircraft made their attack run at 12:34. During the first wave, the Yamato was hit by 2 armor-piercing bombs and 1 torpedo. This started a fire in the aft of the superstructure. That was not extinguished. And that was just the first wave. At 1:20, the second wave came in, and at 2:15, the third wave came in. The port side of the Yamato was slammed with torpedoes that she began to list. To correct the list and stop her from capsizing, the Yamato's damage control team flooded both starboard engine rooms without telling the crew that were in there. This added a ton of water weight, causing the Yamato to slow down to about 10 knots. It was at that moment that another 110 American aircraft came in. Seeing them coming, the Yamato took a hard turn to port. 3 torpedoes jammed into the port side, jamming her rudders. She was now stuck in a constant port turn, meaning the thing could only drive in circles. At 14:02, the commanding Japanese admiral, Admiral Ito, was informed that the ship could no longer turn. He then canceled the mission and ordered everybody to abandon ship. Both Admiral Ito and the Yamato's captain, Katsu Aruga, refused to abandon ship. Ito retired to the flag cabin while Aruga tied himself to the binnacle. That's where the navigational instruments are. You see, now the flooding that originally was meant to stop the list didn't work, and the Yamato began to capsize. As she was capsizing, the American aircraft slammed the Yamato with several more torpedo hits. At 14:20, the Yamato capsized completely and began to sink. At 14:23, fire from one of the bombs ignited the main magazine. The Yamato then exploded. The explosion was so large that it was seen almost 120 miles away and put a mushroom cloud up over 20,000 feet high. At this point, out of the 9 ships that left Tokuyama in the battle fleet, 3 remained. Out of the 3,300 crew, only 280 were rescued. And in the entire battle, it is estimated that the Japanese lost 4,250 men. We lost 10 planes and 12 men. This was the last major offensive that the Japanese Navy made during World War II. A few months later, the U.S. created a couple spawn points for the sun in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, thus ending World War II. And now you know the story of why the Yamato and her sister ship, the Muashi, are both now coral reefs. And with that being said, thanks for watching. The best way to support me is to like, comment, or share on my videos. TikTokHistoryTeacher.com. You can find the Yamato is a Coral Reef t-shirt on there, as well as the links to the Discord, Vibe PEMF device, Value Vibe DNS device, and any other links that I may have. And with that being said, be nice, be kind, be patient.